Good morning. I'm super excited to be here with you guys. Happy March. March is my birthday month, so I'm always extra excited and passionate during the month of March. It's also my oldest son's birthday month too, so we share that together. And I just wanted to come on and support you to have your highest level of success in 2019 in the month of March. So a lot of people that I've heard from have gotten off to a little bit of a sputtered or rocky start to 2019, and they kind of felt like January was an extended month of 2018. And hey, Kelly, welcome. And then, February was kind of like the official start of 2019. So it took people some more time to transition into this energy of 2019, which is very amazing energy. Lots of transformation happening in 2019. So if you're just joining or you're watching the replay, I'd love to hear from you. How did your 2019 start? And where are you at right now? What are you looking forward to on this wonderful Friday morning here on the East Coast? Hey, Marcella, welcome. Good morning. And what is your greatest goal for March? So what are you setting your, good morning. What are you setting your sights high on? And we're going to dive into some practical business strategy that will help you really be your best self in your life and in your business for 2019. So for those of you who know me, I am Rebecca Matthias. I am an intuitive success strategist, and I help business owners and women entrepreneurs take a look at their whole entire business ecosystem. Yes, I'm shuffling cards. I'm going to draw one and do a reading for you. Trying to keep it juicy and fun, which is how I do business. So I know I operate way more effectively in my business when I incorporate fun and spirituality, things that I look forward to, connection, especially if you're an entrepreneur who works from home. There are definitely ingredients you want to add in. If you missed my Facebook Live from yesterday, go back and watch that, because one of my former clients, Michelle, was asking how to create a really juicy home office environment or juicy energy in your home. And I was explaining to her how to do that. And, some of the things that I was talking to her about is like, I've got Palo Santo, I've got some essential oils over here, I've got some beautiful cards that bring me a lot of joy and just a gorgeous environment here. It snowed overnight in the East Coast, so I was gonna turn the camera around and show you guys my view for the day. I don't know if you can even see, so I'll take you guys over here so you can see. I know some of you who are not in the 4 seasons like I am. I actually call our house the 5 seasons because we have the 4 seasons, plus I feel like it's super sacred and spiritual here. But anyways, this is our backyard. If you can see all the beautiful snow that we got. In fact, I'll do this because you might be able to see better. But it is beautiful out here. One day I was right here coaching a client, and a gorgeous fox ran by, and it was just so amazing and astounding to see that. So super exciting to be in this juicy environment with you. And so if you're just tuning in, say hello, say where you're tuning in from. I'd love to hear from you. What have been your biggest challenges for 2019 thus far? And what are your goals for March? What are you looking to really All right, I hope we didn't lose one another. I hit the wrong button as I was putting it back in my tripod. But what are you really looking to kick it out of the ballpark with in March of 2019? And, one of the things that is really important as a successful entrepreneur is to almost anticipate potential issues. It's like, well, what could throw you off your game for your goals for March? And to be aware of how you would go about handling that. So one of the greatest measures of success of some of the greatest entrepreneurs that I've ever been around and worked with, and for those of you who know me, I've worked with high 6-figure earning entrepreneurs, 7-figure entrepreneurs, and that they actually anticipate. There's a skill that you learn. I remember when I was early on in coaching and I was working with coaches and running an international coaching academy, and one of my mentors had said, you need to anticipate. And I just was like, what the heck does that even mean? And essentially what it means is to anticipate the needs of the people at the live event that we were at, for example. But in your business, you need to anticipate your needs. Are you needing more time in the morning? One of the things that I just realized this week, because I have a high level of awareness, and it's really important that you're constantly reevaluating and seeing what you're adjusting to, because we're evolving, right? As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you're evolving. And so one of the things I realized this week is I need a little bit of more transition time. So when I was creating my schedule, I used the Brendon Burchard High Performance Planner. When I would get home from the gym, I wasn't really planning enough time for like showering and changing and getting ready and eating lunch and that sort of thing. And so just looking at, I need a little bit more space. I need some space to take a break and kind of have that time of transitioning into going from my health into my wealth. And so for me, my goals for 2019 for the whole entire year are divine health and divine wealth. So I would love to hear from you what your goals are. So if you're live watching this, put your goals for 2019 or your word for 2019 in the comments below. Or if you're watching the replay, just put #replay and also put your comments in the comment box below. So we're going to dive into the 3 things that are really critical for you to have on a daily basis that is going to set you up for your greatest success. And sometimes we can get to the end of the month. Yesterday was obviously the end of February, and we look at our goals that we've written out for the month and we can feel defeated. And that begins to set the month up, the new month, meaning today, March 1st, in a way where there's a little bit of potential resentment, or perhaps you've got some self-judgment and criticism going on, like, boy, that month went fast and I didn't meet as many clients or make as many sales as I wanted to. I didn't meet my money goal and now I'm left feeling a bit defeated. Or you might even think when you're planning out your March, and if you're hearing this and you're like, planning out March, what are you talking about, Rebecca? Like, you got to get on the game here, sister. If you're not planning out your months, not March 1st, not the first of every month, but literally like you should be looking ahead constantly. That's what successful entrepreneurs do. And the other end of the spectrum is you don't want to look too far ahead. Like, we're not planning out 2020 March, we're planning out 2019 March. That should have been done. Typically, you want to look at doing that like the 3rd week of the month, but you want to do weekly assessments. You also want to do daily assessments, like what worked, what didn't work, how can I improve and be better on my A game. But these are the things that people who are creating great wealth are doing. And it's literally just not even about great wealth. It's really about who you're becoming in the process. Because what I have found in all of the people that I've worked with who have created and generated wealth and also increased their profit margin, because those are 2 separate things, believe it or not. These are people who are really committed to excellence, and they're committed to excellence in every area of their life. And they understand that all of the different areas of their life really impact their business, which is why I teach about your business ecosystem and the health of your business, because a lot of times people aren't really paying attention to, how I eat and the kinds of foods that I consume and whether I get exercise regularly or whether I have a balanced social life or an integrated social life, that those things really do indeed impact what kind of goals you're going to meet and whether you're going to feel defeated and whether you're going to self-criticize and self-destruct, if you will. So those are all things that we want to make sure that you are avoiding. So I'm going to dive into the 3 things. And before we do that, I will read to you the card that I have been given, I will say, because I shuffled and that was what came out. But so the card is called Color. And for those of you who are not familiar with this deck of cards, this is the Magdalene Oracle Guidebook, and it's by Tony Carmine Salerno, and I absolutely love his work. I have several of his decks. The first deck that I had for several years, I thought Tony was a woman, but no, Tony is a guy. So anyways, it says, over the coming days, pay attention to the colors that you're drawn to. The colors of your clothes and the food you eat and drink have a profound effect on the way you feel. Kind of what I was just saying, which is, I always love how, the universe works when these kinds of things show up and pop up. So when you find yourself being drawn to a certain color, pay attention to the energy emanating from it. How does that color make you feel? Perhaps it brings out a certain mood or invokes a certain memory. Color is ultimately vibration. Each color or combination of colors vibrates at a particular frequency. When you are drawn to a particular color, it is because a part of you resonates with its frequency. Color will help balance your emotions and restore your well-being. The following is a meditation that you may wish to practice, particularly if you're feeling low on energy or emotions. Imagine yourself on a beautiful sandy beach, watching the waves ebb and flow. Feel a gentle breeze blowing through your mind, clearing away all unwanted thoughts, concerns, and negative energies. Visualize each of the following colors one at a time. With each one, breathe in the vibration and essence of each color until you feel that color vibrate in every part of your body. Allow each color to flow through your mind as you affirm, I am a violet flame. I am a blue flame. I am a pink flame. I am a green flame. I am a yellow flame. I am an orange flame. I am a ruby red flame. I am a white flame. I am a golden flame. I am a silver flame. And I'm sure most of you who are watching this are familiar with the power of the two words, I am. And anything you put after that is pretty significant and profound as well. So the first thing that you want to take a look at is how much procrastination versus progress was occurring in January and February so far. And what are you going to allow to occur in March for you, for people that are working for you, for perhaps people who are in your household? Because being around people who are rapidly making progress, who are committed to great success, and who are committed to not allowing procrastination to occur. I'm not saying procrastination just isn't going to exist, period. It's certain to show up. It's generally a conditioning that many other people have experienced. You're not immune. Sometimes as an entrepreneur, you can feel super isolated and feel like this is only happening to me. I'm the only one having these problems. And it's really important for you not to go there, because that is going to literally perpetuate your procrastination. That was a mouthful. Hey, Julia. Hey, Jacqueline. Welcome. If you're tuning in, let me know how your 2019 is going so far and what your goals are for 2019, especially March. I really want to focus on supporting you through the month of March and helping you have your greatest month to date and ending quarter one with feeling like really victorious. So anyhow, here's the thing. Taking imperfect action. Perfection is truly for poor people, and this is an area where I see a lot of women getting stuck, where they feel like, I don't have the copy right yet, or I don't have the product right yet. And sometimes it's a matter, the thing that's blocking you from getting to that next level of greatness, because, we could call it perfection, you could call it greatness, I prefer to call it greatness, is you taking action, imperfect action, and getting feedback, or connecting with people and getting feedback. But sitting behind your computer screen and procrastinating and not putting something out there and being visible is just going to add to your procrastination. So a lot of times it is really a matter of just jumping in, even if that means you're afraid, even if you feel like things aren't where you want them to be. Sometimes the thing that's going to unlock the next level for you is proceeding with what it is that you're doing and putting out there, whether that is a product or a service or a new program, all of these things. So, yay, cool, awesome, love to see that. So, Brand, your Instagram course, it's been all about imperfect, yes, imperfect action, absolutely. And you know what, I love that. For many, many years, I felt very intimidated when I started my coaching business 9 years ago. And I felt like, oh my gosh, I can't put a YouTube video out because back then there was no such thing as Facebook Live or Instagram TV or any of that stuff. Or even, what was that one that was like short-lived for a while a couple of years ago? I can't remember. Periscope. That was quite a platform, gotta tell you. So go ahead and take imperfect action, but you want to also measure your results. So if you're just doing Facebook Live after Facebook Live and you're not going back and seeing like, well, how much engagement was there, re-watch your Facebook Live or your Instagram TV, or go back and reread posts that you created. And I know, I don't think it is. For you to really be mirrored to yourself, that's such a powerful thing. And for you to dive in and refine your work. You know, one of the things that Abraham Lincoln talked about is if he's going to chop wood, he's going to spend 80% of his time preparing and sharpening the axe. And this is something that I just don't see people doing sometimes in the online space. It's almost like there's just like barfing everywhere instead of how much time are you spending before you're doing something, whether that's going and giving a massage to someone. I mean, there's such an energetic exchange there. Are you meditating ahead of time? Are you asking to be a channel of the divine for that person that you are connecting with? You know, one of the things that I spent time doing this morning was journaling and meditating and listening to sound healing and really asking for what I can do and who I can be to support the people who are actually watching this Facebook Live, and when I post it on Instagram later, them as well. So really holding the highest and best in the hands of the divine for you having your greatest business success, and not just saying, okay, you know what, I'm just going to do a Facebook Live and I don't really know why I'm doing it. So really knowing why you're taking each action step that you're taking. So it's great for you to have a mission and a purpose within your business. It's imperative that you have that written out if you truly want success in your business. Hey, Laura, welcome. Good to see you. Hey, Lindsay. Hey. Say hello in the comments, guys. If you feel impelled to share this video training as well, please do that. That would be greatly appreciated. So anyhow, that's number one. You're really going to miss the yacht on this, if you will, if you're procrastinating. Whatever you've been inspired by, if you haven't read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, she talks about an idea or an inspiration that you might get. If you don't take action on it, the universe will utilize someone else to bring that into fruition, into creativity. So if you haven't read that book yet, it's really fantastic. You know, really paying attention to, hey, Laura, good to see you. Love your energy too. I'm so happy to be connected with you. Yeah, definitely why you're taking each action step. So, you know, the other thing here is no excuses. Like, pay attention to your excuses. Really, one of the quadrants in the business ecosystem that I teach about is your self-talk and the stories that you're telling. So if your partner, your husband, or your kids, or whoever's home later and they're like, how was your day? And you need to be the observer with no judgment and hear what's coming out of your mouth. If it's like, oh, well, I couldn't get to the gym because of this, or, you know, I couldn't eat healthy because of this, or I didn't, you know, get that much done in my business because of X, Y, and Z. Like, those excuses are not going to fill your bank account. Somebody put that in the comments. Your excuses will not fill your bank account. That's a really powerful thing for you to remember, to keep yourself out of procrastination and in progress. For those of you who love Dr. Wayne Dyer like I do, I feel like he's my spiritual father, even in heaven. He has a great book called Excuses Be Gone. Mel Robbins' book too, even the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 concept. Like, these are the kinds of things that are going to keep you out of making up excuses to perpetuate your procrastination, because we rationalize all the freaking time, right? We rationalize like why we can't do this, or why we didn't get that, or why we didn't meet our February goals. And here we are in March potentially feeling defeated, and that has to stop. In order for you to really be set up for your greatest success is for you to totally just cut your own bullshit. Call yourself out on your own bullshit is one of my famous coaching phrases, which is kind of like what we're moving into. So step 2 here is your self-talk. So people talk about mindset so much that it literally ends up sounding like Charlie Brown's teacher, wah, 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 wah. And it's really not necessarily about your mindset. Like, to get to the core of what the patterns are that are running for you. I know some people use hypnosis or NLP. There's many different methodologies and stuff like that. Thanks, Julia, for posting it in the comments. I appreciate that. We're unconscious about 95% of our 60,000 thoughts a day. So telling people to change their mindset is near to impossible if you're not addressing the many other psychological and subconscious things that are happening within someone. And if you don't have a background in psychology, like I have my degree in psychology, I've been studying psychology, mindset, and personal and spiritual development practices for 2.5 decades now. So, I see a lot of people who just wake up one day and they're, sometimes relatively young, and they think, oh, I'm just going to be a coach today. And, you're really doing someone a disservice. You really need to be skilled and prepared. And, I don't necessarily think 100% everyone has to be certified. There are people who are certified, just like there are doctors who have tons of credentials on the wall and they suck, quite honestly. So just because you have a piece of paper certifying you in something does not make you an expert, in my personal opinion. Yes, those things are important. And yes, continuing to get an education and learning and working with mentors is an imperative thing, especially if you're in the world of consulting and coaching. I think it's very hypocritical if you don't invest in that kind of mentorship. So, and speaking of which, side note, this isn't in my notes for the training for today, but having a mentor, and I was thinking about this as I was getting ready, because I recently just hired some health coaches for myself, or started working with some health coaches locally. And it's like, whatever area you feel like you need additional support in, don't procrastinate there, right? Like, reach out for support. That's another thing that I've done in the 9 years that I've been receiving coaching and doing coaching, is I don't wait. Like, as soon as I feel like, oh no, I'm going down the spiral, or I'm going down the rabbit hole, or my self-talk is in the toilet, I am reaching out. And I'm getting help in whatever area I need, whether that's a mastermind partner, a colleague, or hiring a new coach, a business mentor, or a spiritual advisor, for example. And so, it's really the fastest way to determine what is going on between your temples is for you to listen to your self-talk. Now, if this means you need to use a device other than the one that you're talking on, so like if you're on your mobile device, for example, you might need another device like an iPad to record yourself talking, probably to your closest friends, or perhaps even in a mastermind circle that you're in, or to your coach. Like, very valuable to record your calls. Even if your coach does not record them for you, be a proactive person in your business and take the initiative. I recently had a consultation with someone in California who is utterly brilliant, fantastic copywriter, and she was helping me with some of the next stages of some things that are in the works for me. And I said, listen, I'm going to send you a Zoom link. Is it okay with you that I record it? It was really important for me to have that recording and then use the recording. Like, this is the biggest thing I see people making a mistake in, is that go back as soon as you possibly can. If it's immediately after the call and you book in some time into your calendar to go through the session that you just had with your person or whoever it is that you're getting mentorship from, go back, and then I'll even show you some of my notes. Like, I recently had a call with one of my mentors, and I'll go back and I'm like highlighting things, putting things in red, using different colored markers, because there are things that I hear when I go back and listen to that recording that I may not have heard the first time, or I was talking and I wasn't taking notes at the same time, and like brilliant shit comes out of my mouth all the time, for those of you who know me and have followed me. So really important for you to go back, even if you go to like a live event. I remember years ago, I think it was in like 2012, I had gone to a live event in New York with someone who then became a future business mentor of mine. And one of the questions that I asked at the end of the live event, Gabby Bernstein was there. It was like a really powerful panel of women. And I raised my hand and I said, what do you suggest for people when they leave the live event? Because a lot of people go to these live events, they get powered up, they get inspired, they get excited, and then they go home and they get back in their regular environment. They don't even look at any of the notes that they ever took. And, one of the things that they had said was like to go back through your notes and really highlight things that stood out or things you're going to take action on. And you might even have color-coded markers for the different things, like maybe your action items are red and maybe your money-making things that you go back through and see, oh, this could be a money-making opportunity. You might want to put those in green or put like a little money sign next to them. There's all kinds of cool things that you can do so that when you go back through, those things really stand out to you and you have like, oh, wow, I got, 5 money-making ideas from this one call with my mentor, what have you. But anyways, your self-talk is really, really important. And, so how often are you judging yourself? We talked about self-judgment and criticism. And are you partaking in the number one above, which is the procrastination? We talked about that earlier in this. So you can really place your bets on your own self-judgment and self-criticism as the core issue that keeps you drifting and spinning your wheels. So if you're not really 100% sure in this training, when you think, oh, well, I don't know if I'm really procrastinating or not, to increase your high level of awareness on this and call yourself out on your own BS, like I said earlier, and Julia kindly put in the comments, is, then be aware of what's coming out of your mouth. And people are so unconscious of this. They're so unconscious of this. Yesterday in the Facebook Live training that I did, I was sharing that Wednesday night I had volunteered at a local networking event, and I met this new coach. Was like so excited to meet me because she's young and she's new and doesn't really know any local coaches. And I literally called her out on a negative thing that she had said about herself, and it was in direct opposition to what she is teaching as a coach. And that's really big because you can do all kinds of business strategy. I talk about your sales and your sales process, your delegation and your organization in your business, your money leaks versus making a quantum money leap with a P. But 80% of it is literally your self-talk, your psychology, and your stories. So really knowing and being honest with yourself and utilizing techniques that work really fast to become aware of what's really going on in between my temples, because that is from where you will manifest. That is from where you will see your results and say, oh my God, I'm doing all these other things and it's not working. And what is really not working is you. 99% of the time, the business owner is the bottleneck in their own company. I've seen it over and over and over again with all of the women that I have worked with over the past 9 years from 10 plus countries. So it doesn't matter. One of the things that I realize is these problems exist regardless of your vocation, your education, or your location. So really get honest with yourself there. And then here's the big mother, okay? The big mother. It is, dun, 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 drum roll please, your morning routine, your daily routine. And like I mentioned earlier in this training, it's not just what you're doing. It's taking the time to evaluate what's working for me, what's not working for me, what is a possible thing that could trip me up for the day, and how am I going to handle it as from my higher self, so that you're prepared for what I call monkey wrench stuff. I am the mom of 2 sons. And running a business for 9 years since, my oldest will be 16 tomorrow. So when he was 5 and his brother was 2, I've been basically running my business since then, or so 6 and 3. They were 6 and 3. And trust me, along the different ages and phases and needs and requirements that they have had over the years, there have been certainly different monkey wrench challenges that have come up that I have had to what's the word I'm looking for? My business has had to be malleable. My life has had to be flexible and malleable in order to accommodate what my business needs are versus what my family needs are. And women are balancing a lot. There's a lot of different things in the ecosystem that contribute to your greatest success, or they're toxic and they're leaching into the other areas of your life. And it's preventing you from really showing up and being in that full energetic alignment that is required, especially now. We are just moving through so many energetic shifts and transitions, energetically, planetarily, astrologically, all of these things. So it's really almost imperative at this point that you are in full alignment with being congruent in your business. You know, people can see right through whether you're being authentic or you're just speaking out of the side of your mouth and you're not really living what you're talking about. So your morning routine, I'm going to be posting more about this next week. I've written this really amazing post, so stay tuned for that with more detail. But essentially, you know, one of the things that I do monthly is I have a 30 days to total prosperity package. And in that package it's like you can print it out. There's 30 pages. It's your weekly plan. It's your daily plan. It's a checklist. It's fill in the blank. It correlates with Think and Grow Rich so that you're putting your Think and Grow Rich statement in there. If anyone is interested in hearing more about that, just PM me and we'll make a time to hop on the phone. So that to me is a huge essential staple. I can tell, and I'm not perfect either. Like there have been months where I procrastinate and I don't do the packet to the fullest. But when I do the packet and I fill out the stuff daily and I write my Think and Grow Rich statement daily, those are the months that I see the most revenue coming in. Those are the months that I have the most clients reaching out to want to work with me. So when you do this work behind the scenes, trust me, it will manifest on the outside, if you will. I also have another strategy and theory of one mentor a day. You know, we all tend to follow different people and we've got people that we love and adore. I would certainly not recommend that you are following like 50 different people and here is your wake up call to decrease how many people's lists you're subscribed to. I think I'm subscribed to like maybe 3 or 4 people's lists and that is it. And I have a one mentor a day policy. So in other words, like if I'm listening to somebody on health stuff, I'm not going to jump around and like go then listen to somebody else on sexual pleasure and wellness or riches and, you know, the science of getting rich and money mindset and all these different things. Like these are all different areas that I study. But I recommend that you literally just have one focus for the day. Like if you're listening to a podcast in the morning on wealth and you're listening to a Facebook Live in the afternoon on health, like it's just too much clutter. It's too much information clutter and you will not be successful because you're spreading yourself energetically all over the place. And one of my famous coaching phrases too is what is taking up the psychological real estate in your head. So if you've got like all these different things floating around and there are all these different topics and different people with different messages, it starts to create a lot of confusion. And again, like I mentioned earlier, we already have 60,000 thoughts a day. So why add to the clutter and the confusion? You actually can become more successful from what you say no to. This is what I see a lot of 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs doing that I've worked with. And one of the things that I've coached and taught them on is you become more successful from what you remove from your calendar usually than from what you add into it. To create that level of space and expansion is what leads to your own evolution and your own business results and converting more clients and making more money and looking at your numbers and making sure that your profit margin is increasing and tracking things and looking at what's working and what's not working. These are all really critical things as a part of your business ecosystem. So number 2 is really pay attention to not cluttering your mind with too much information and listening to too many people all at the same time. I call that information clutter. And I used to be famous for this. In fact, years and years ago when I first started my coaching business back in 2010, I was on a virtual intensive day with my mentor and she was talking about clutter and I was like, I don't have any clutter. Like I'm super organized. Everything has a place in my house. I don't have clutter. I don't have things that need to go to the Goodwill. Like everything's organized, labeled, et cetera, et cetera. And what we uncovered was that I had information clutter. I was like borrowing like 10 different books from the library at the same time. Now, keep in mind, this is back in the day when I don't even know if there were podcasts back then, but now we're in even more of an information clutter moment. So really pay attention to, do you have too many books? I really donate most all of my books to the library if I purchase books, unless they're what I would call a reference book. So for me, that, isn't necessarily an encyclopedia or a dictionary per se, but for me, these are the kinds of books that I feel like, wow, this is really innate wisdom or sacred wisdom, and this is something that I would come back to and read over and over and over again, like Raymond Hollywell's The Laws of the Universe and that sort of thing, working with the law. So for me, that's not a book I'm going to donate to the library, because it's something I refer back to on a regular basis. So look at where you can clear out the clutter there. And then this is a big one. This is something that a lot of people don't even know about. It never even crossed their mind to do. It's to make a menu, what I call a morning ritual menu. And I think it's really important for women to have menus, because, it's just like women like to go out and have tapas, right? We don't necessarily want one main course or like the same thing every single day and day in and day out. So for years, I've called this your spiritual toolbox, but it's also, essentially is the same thing about, well, what are you going to do in the morning, right? And if you don't know what you're going to do in the morning and you don't have it planned out the night before, you got a problem, because you're going to wake up and you're going to procrastinate, or someone else's agenda is going to end up dictating your day. So what is it that you really would be served by? Is it reading the Bible? I love Joel Osteen's workbook and book called I Declare. I also have a daily devotional. I have like morning journaling. I do my 30 page to 30 days to total prosperity packet. I listen to sound healing sometimes. I'll meditate. Yoga. Is exercise included in your routine? When I say morning routine, like, I kind of don't include exercise in that, even though I do exercise 5 days a week and go to the gym. Like, for me, it's what am I doing before I go to the gym? What am I doing when I very first wake up in the morning? And how am I creating sacred space for me to really connect in with spirit and get guidance for my day? Maybe it's reading A Course in Miracles. Maybe it is reading the Bible, or any other book for that matter. One of the things that we talk about in the 30 Days to Total Prosperity program is reading for 30 minutes a day, a physical book. So, think about what that looks like for you. Now, the key here is you're not doing all of these things. You would be doing your morning routine for like 4 hours if you were journaling, meditating, yogaing, and, listening to sound healing, or listening to a guided meditation, for example, and reading and this and this and this and this. That's overwhelming. Keep things simple. Again, like I said, your success is going to increase by what you take out of your schedule more than what you put in your schedule. So what's working for you? So really tuning in. And so even though you're planning your morning out, your morning routine and your rituals the night before, you might wake up that morning and you know what? I don't feel like journaling right now. I feel like I really need to connect in on a deep sacred level, and I'm going to read the Bible, or I'm going to read A Course in Miracles, or I'm going to read, whatever it is for you. The Quran, or, the Tao Te Ching. Like, there's lots of spiritual texts out there, like the Bible. I'm just using that as an example. And that's okay. The point is that you don't want to overcrowd your morning and be like, oh my gosh, this feels like a burden. It's not a to-do list. It's an enriching list. It's a filling your spirit and filling your cup up in the morning list. So identify what that is for you. That might be reading tarot cards. It might be cleansing your house with Palo Santo or sage or something. It might be reading cards like we did during this Facebook Live training. So that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. And stay tuned. I'll be live also next week. And I wish you a happy March 1st. And if you have any questions, or you want to just post in the comments or share this Facebook Live, I would greatly appreciate it. It has been absolutely amazing to be here with you, as always. And I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, morning, or evening, wherever you're tuning in from in the world. And also have a fabulous weekend. And I'll see you all again soon. Lots of love. Bye.